Did you hear about the new atheist Christmas movie coming out? It's called Coincidence on 34th Street. Hello, boys and girls. Lord Hawkeye yet again. I wanted to do a little follow-up on the video I did last time about anarchic justice and how it would work. Now, I'd already explained some possibilities of how we could deal with crime, but what I neglected to mention was that there's also many ways an anarchic society could prevent crimes before they even happen. What do I mean by that? I'm glad you asked. Well, let's see. First of all, you need to understand what causes crime. And there are three main motivations behind crime: profit, passion, and compulsion. Now, crimes that are motivated by profit, it's very simple to prevent them. If crime is not profitable, or if it is more profitable to do honest work than to resort to crime, well, then you basically eliminate it. And so think about it. First of all, as in anarchic society, the population would be far wealthier. We can see that clearly by how the poverty rate was decreasing before the welfare state came along and messed it all up. Yeah, it is true. Before welfare, the percentage of people who were poor was decreasing by 1% per year. It was well on its way to the point where being poor was basically optional. The only people who would be poor were those who chose to be. You know, people who didn't care about wealth or anything, just wanted to do the bare minimum to get by, and that's fine. Anyways, so the first way to prevent crime is to make the population richer. The more richer and well-off people are, the less inclined they will be to resort to crime, obviously. And without taxes, without the barriers to entry, without all the things interfering with the economy, everyone would be richer, and there'd be far, far, far fewer people resorting to crime. And, funnily enough, with the people richer, there'd be fewer cases of, oh, how would the poor get protected by the justice and everything like that. So, two problems solved in one. Can't really argue with that. So, that's the first thing. And let's see. To make it easier to earn a living honestly, get rid of the barriers to entry. That means no welfare, all that other stuff, because all that does is cut the bottom rung of the ladder off to make it look like your economy's better, which is really quite despicable. That way, it'll be much easier to work an honest living, so why steal? Just as simple as that. With no war on drugs and no laws against imports, the mafia pretty much goes out of business, so that's perfect. And so basically eliminate all the reasons why people commit crimes and, well, why do them? It's just that simple. The second motivation, passion, unfortunately there's not really a whole ton you can do about that. There's always going to be people who lose control and do something stupid. You can disincentivize it a little bit, but overall there's not a lot, so you pretty much just have to deal with those as they come. Because luckily, they're not regular occurrences. They're just once in a while freak accident sort of things. Because unfortunately, it can't be disincentivized because, you know, people don't weigh risk versus return when they're freaking out. The last one is compulsion. Now, compulsion is another tricky one, but not impossible to cut off at the source. You look at pedophiles, serial killers, and all those people who commit crimes because they're not right in the head. A lot of them, pretty much all of them, interview them, they'll inevitably talk about some traumatic experience they had as a child or something like that. Almost all psychotic behavior can be traced back to childhood experiences. So there's your source right there. If you go after child abuse and disincentivize it as much as you can, you will prevent many troubled people from doing bad things like that. Now, how do you do that? Well, once again, poverty is one of the big contributors to that. If the population is richer, that's a lot of them removed right there. And it's a little complicated how you deal with child abuse and prevent it, but I think overall you need to create an environment where violence is not tolerated and where there are much easier solutions to such problems. I know it's tricky, but if you tackle the big one, the profit incentive, then all the others become way easier to deal with. Because without the war on drugs, without all these pointless laws, what law enforcement we have would have a way lighter workload, and with a way lighter workload, they'd be much better able to deal with these other things. In addition to that, the DRO model, DROs, unlike a government or a police force, they actually have incentive to prevent crime. Meaning, saying things like, they would do anything to incentivize people to take any steps that reduce crime, such as they might offer you a reduced rate if you own a gun, or if you have a security system, or if you keep a lock on your car, or whatever, or if and when it gets invented, you use DNA encoding on your electronics. Whatever it takes. If it lowers the chance of you being the victim of a crime, they have every incentive to try to convince you to do it. Because after all, the fewer crimes that occur, the less compensation the DRO has to pay out, and thus the more money they make. So it is a very worthwhile investment for them. So overall, it's just an environment that just promotes far better behavior, instead of the one we have now, which is a complete monopoly and has no huge incentive to prevent crime. I mean, when's the last time you saw the police paying people to get security systems so that they'll be safer? No, it doesn't happen because they have no incentive to do that. A DRO would. So just another example of the evil profits actually getting things done while monopolies do nothing. It's funny, it's strange how that works, but it is how it works. And, well, hope that covers things for now. Until next time, be aware and be wise.